Hey guys, my name is Holly Baxter and this is Lane Norton, and today our office has changed. We are sitting outside because we are currently having a heap of renovations done on our house, and the noise factor this morning has been a little interesting, to say the least. There's like every noise you can imagine.
And now we have wind.
And now we have wind and bird sounds, but it's quieter. It's actually much quieter. So this is now week, is it 16?
Yeah, you've been reverse dieting for 16 weeks. 16
weeks of reverse dieting, so it's actually update 14 if you've been following along sequentially.
Actually, it's probably update 13, I think, because we didn't do an update when we were in Australia.
That is right, okay, yeah. It'll be update 13 if you've been following along. So, for the past 2 weeks, Lane and I have been really lucky and fortunate to be able to travel to Australia. And we had the Australia tour. So our first seminar was in Sydney, where we did an evening seminar, and then we did a full day of training camp on Saturday.
Yep.
And then we head up to...
At Warrior Performance.
Yeah, at Warrior Performance.
Shout out to our friends Shannon and Lauren for letting us use their gym. It's a great spot.
Yeah, Warrior Performance, they are awesome. The owners are just lovely people. They have these two huge dogs. What kind of dogs are they?
I think those are English Bulldogs.
English Bulldogs. They're the fattest little cute things I've ever seen, and they grunt all the time. And
get boners?
They get boners all the time too. It's so disgusting. Cute dogs though. Anyway, moving on. Then we went to Brisbane on Sunday and we had a fantastic sold out seminar in Brisbane. What was the name of the gym we went to?
Valhalla Strength.
Right. So that was a lot of fun. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just a little bit difficult to keep up with everything while you're traveling, which I think you're going to talk about. So I think we found with you that you do best when you have structure and routine and don't really get rocked out of that boat.
Yeah, I think we may as well start talking about it. So I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges for myself and for people that I work with as well, is trying to remain adherent to targets. And this is whether you are trying to gain muscle. Maybe you're on a muscle gaining program and you're meant to try and eat more. You might be on a fat loss program and you're in a deficit and you're trying to eat less. Whatever the goal, I think one of the key things that people kind of butt heads with is the fact that they are busy and life gets away from you, and it is one of the biggest challenges I certainly find to try and remain adherent when you've got 1,000,000,001 things going on. Would you agree, Wayne?
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Corey Probst talks about this, that you've only got so much kind of willpower that you can pull from. And so when you're, if we're in our routine and we're in our structure and things are set up exactly how we want them, most people don't have a problem with adherence. It's when life gets stressed, the kids are sick, you're traveling, you don't feel well, those sorts of things.
Yeah, or you're having to eat out. That is something as well. Sorry about the...
It's following you.
The sound
I can see your eye twitching
me
right now.
Yeah, so like trying to eat out. I know a lot of people travel for work, or they don't have their scales, or they've got parties, functions. This is life. It really is. That is, everybody has these problems. Some people are busier than others. It's some people travel more than others for their type of work. So I think one of the most important things is trying to find a strategy to not let that get the better of you, which is certainly something I've actively had to try and fix. And I actually am working with Dr. Corey Probst right now to try and help manage some of these stressors in my life so that they don't manifest themselves in the way that I eat.
Which has been a struggle for you in the past. Anytime you get thrown out of your rhythm, that would kind of negatively affect you. And I think you did better traveling this time with stress. You really haven't had like an episode where you've really
not binge eating or anything like that.
Ate your feels. But you were looking over your logs, you were higher than what your targets were while you were traveling.
Absolutely, but
what do you ascribe that to? Is that you were hungry? Is it that you were using food as a comfort? Like what do you think caused that?
I think this week and the last 2 weeks while we've been traveling, we have been so rushed for time that to try and seek out like really low calorie options or like foods that make you feel good, I guess, that I can cook, that's been really limited. So the frustrating thing about when you are traveling or having to eat out at restaurants is that they are just so much more calorie dense. I have no problems going through a menu and picking out the lowest calorie option or asking for a low calorie option. But it is just a lot more difficult than when you're in your home and you have choice. Sometimes you don't have a choice and you just have to make do with what you can. So I think the foods that we've had access to, the last few weeks, every single meal occasion, unfortunately, has been more calorie dense. So when it comes to my macro adherence this week and last week, it was a little over.
I feel like Australia may just have calorie dense foods because I actually put on a kilo, and usually I don't gain weight when I travel. I'm usually able to maintain. Yeah, I'm up about a kilo.
Yeah.
So
well, I think we kind of went out of our way. We purchased more high calorie snacks. I know Lane absolutely loves Tim Tams, like the flavored ones. We can't.
Yeah,
get
but that's
those.
no different than me usually.
No, but like you might pick something else and you'll weigh them out, or you'll weigh out your snacks.
I didn't have
and
a food
things.
scale.
So we didn't have a food scale. We're pretty good at eyeballing things, but I think in times of stress and being busy with work, you probably just let those parameters, they kind of push themselves out a little bit. So yeah, portion sizes are probably bigger.
Give you some props. You didn't immediately say we need to stop reverse dieting. I want to cut. Although you did get more focused on when you want to do a show. You started talking about that a lot more. I did notice that.
Yeah,
so I think you're close to the end of your wits.
No, I'm not. You'll be very impressed with what I'm going to actually say this week about this week's reverse. But yeah, I think so you mentioned my focus became more around I want to diet. I was actually just really thinking about how I strategically want to do this, because I know if I don't plan ahead for this competition, I'll probably get to maybe 15 weeks out and be like, okay, now I'm going to have to do a continuous calorie deficit, and that's not an optimal strategy if you want to maintain your lean body mass. So I really wanted to emphasize in my upcoming contest prep diet breaks. So that's probably why I was a little bit more focused in talking about it, because I want to get ahead of the game. So it's not that I want to finish my reverse, but I had to look back over my log, and I still logged every single day that we're away. But I think what I did a really good job of was seeing higher numbers and not letting it really just consume me. Whereas previously I would be so stressed out about it that I would let it kind of dictate how I felt. It would dictate my mood. And I really tried to just go, well, you're doing this for a reason, and it's going to benefit you down the track. So the first week while we were away, we had devised having a couple of lower days while I was traveling. Do you remember talking about this?
Yeah.
And then I had 5 higher days, or back to normal, to kind of counteract some of the lack of training from travel. And that week went really well. I actually was adherent for that first week of traveling, looking over my food logs. But this past week, so that was whilst we were down in Melbourne. So Lane, what was the event that you just said you want to talk about that?
I spoke at the Ultimate Evidence-Based Conference that was put on by JPS Health in Melbourne at the Melbourne Convention Center. Mm-hmm. And that was with Dr. Mike Israel, Dr. Eric Helms, James Krieger, Alan Aragon, Sohee Lee,
Brett
Contreras, Dr. Brett Contreras, Nick Dumanello. And that was awesome, but it was hectic.
That was a really busy schedule, so like the time commitments that we had to be in and kind of present were a lot greater than some of the other things that we've had. When we've maybe had half a day to kind of go and get some exercise in, or prepare, grab some food, do some cooking. This was like all day, so training pretty much 0 around that time. But that week I still chose to increase my macros, so I would have liked to have gone up by maybe 50 calories that week. And reviewing my targets this past week, every day I was sitting at around 2,400 calories, and my target for this past week was only 23, so I was 100 calories over every day, so I was 700 calorie excess over the course of the week. Now, the interesting thing is I haven't been able to weigh myself, and I still haven't weighed myself because we only got back in late last night. and we kind of ate late, and then this morning, like, our food has been all out of whack. So I have
We don't
no
have
idea.
a kitchen.
We don't have a kitchen either because we're renovating. So I have no data for my weight, but I do have data for my intakes, and I can also see how I look. And I've probably put on maybe half a kilo or something since being away, maybe a kilo at most.
I believe you said you were 8,000 pounds.
Yeah, 8,000 pounds, I think. So that being said, I have one more week, so we were going to start my contest prep on the 13th of August. So is that 2 weeks away? July, sorry, July. 13th of July. So is that 2 weeks away?
That would be about 3 weeks away.
It's the 26th today of June.
Right, so it's about 3 weeks, just under 3 weeks.
So I have just under 3 weeks, so that's 2 full weeks more of reverse dieting. Now, I would really like to keep pushing up, onwards and up, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep going up this week.
Well, I don't think you need to go up from 2,400.
No, I'm just going to actually come up to 24. So I think the previous update, my macros were 165 protein, 230 carbohydrates, and 72 grams of fat. This week I'm going to come up, protein will stay the same, but my carbohydrates I'm going to take up to my carbohydrates I'll take up to 240, and my fats I'll bring up to 78. So I think that's going to be just shy of 2,400.
Any particular reason you're emphasizing fat so much over carbohydrate?
Great question. Okay, so looking at my food choices for the last 2 weeks, I've been going over my fat macros most. So I've been sitting around 80 grams while we're away. I know I can probably scale that back, but I think just with the foods that I have been having, they are a little bit higher in fat. So yeah, I'm just going to nudge my fats up because I haven't actually been hitting my carb targets.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just my preference, and everybody will be different. It's not that fats are better for me to increase or carbs are better. That's just where my food choices kind of are lying at the moment. So yeah.
So I guess we'll see how you go this week with your weight and your training sessions and your adherence, and then we'll have more data to show next week and be able to make a better judgment of where you're at.
Yeah, so I'll take my weight every day this week and get all my planned training programs in. I'm just so excited to get back and have some kind of structure, which is really nice. I do much better when I can have a bit of a routine with all of that. So yeah. Cool.
So I guess we'll see you guys next week. We're back, and make sure you like and subscribe to her videos and mine, and we're going to be pumping out a lot of great content for you over the last half of this year.
Thanks, guys.